Let me tell you about the time a bunch of cosplay commandos pretending to be HOA police tried to forcibly evict my family and found out the hard way that my husband isn't just some quiet guy who grills steaks and mows lawns. He's a Navy SEAL. And those fake cops? Yeah, they picked the worst house on the street to mess with. The setup. We live in a small gated community outside San Diego. It's not fancy, just quiet. Or it was quiet before the HOA got taken over by a new president, Bradley Kirkland, aka Commander Kirk. Not a real commander, just a guy who liked to dress like one. Bradley was a retired mall security guard with the Napoleon complex dialed to 11. Within weeks of becoming HOA president, he created his own compliance enforcement unit and handed out military-style uniforms to his hand-picked officers. They started patrolling the neighborhood like they were on some suburban combat mission. Dark green polos with HOA patches, walkie-talkies, even fake utility belts. They'd issue warnings, citations, and once even tried to impound a teenager's bike for being parked too close to a mailbox. We mostly stayed out of it, but when they told us our American flag was unauthorized decor, that's when my husband Logan took notice. The target. We received a letter from the HOA citing us for non-compliant yard decorations, refusing to cooperate with compliance officers, and disturbing the peace with aggressive behavior. None of which was true. Logan's a Navy SEAL, real one, 14 years active duty, calm, controlled, polite even. But make no mistake, the man is trained to end international threats. So neighborhood Karens and wannabe soldiers? Not much of a challenge. We ignored the letters until we got a visit. The raid. It was 7:42 a.m. on a Tuesday. I was making breakfast for our kids when three men in tactical vests stormed up our front yard, banging on the door. One yelled, "Open up! HOA police! You're being evicted!" Logan, who just returned from his morning run, opened the door shirtless and barefoot, towel around his neck. The tallest guy, a pudgy one with aviators and fingerless gloves, barked, "You have 10 minutes to vacate the premises or we will escort you out." Logan tilted his head. "Is that right?" "We have legal authority from the board," the guy puffed. "You violated 5 HOA statutes and we've come to enforce the eviction." Logan stared for a second, then said, "You're on private property. I suggest you walk away before this gets really embarrassing." The fake cop smirked and reached for something on his belt. Pepper spray, I think. That's when Logan shifted. Not in a loud, dramatic way. No shouting. Just a calm pivot into a defensive stance. One hand behind his back, the other casually resting at his side. In that moment, I could practically hear his military instincts kicking in. He'd seen worse in Kandahar than a chubby pretend rent-a-cop, but he wasn't about to let this escalate near our kids. He said, "This is your final warning. Leave now." Instead of backing off, the goon stepped forward. That's when Logan whipped out his phone and tapped a number labeled Sheriff Direct Line. "Yeah, Sheriff. I've got 3 armed impersonators on my property claiming to be HOA police. No badges, no warrant, threatening eviction. Sending live video feed now." They froze. Sheriff's response, "Hold them. We're on our way." The arrests. Logan didn't even need to touch them, just stood between them and the front door while calmly narrating everything into the phone. Within 5 minutes, 2 real sheriff cruisers pulled up. The HOA guys tried to bluff, said they were conducting community enforcement, claimed to have the right to evict problem residents. Deputies weren't amused. Turned out their tactical vests were from a military surplus store, their badges were 3D printed, and they'd been issuing fake fines to half the neighborhood. All 3 were arrested on the spot for impersonating law enforcement, attempted unlawful entry, menacing, and conspiracy to commit fraud. The fallout. Bradley Kirkland, aka Commander HOA, tried to distance himself, but his emails revealed that he personally authorized community action teams to enforce discipline. HOA board members resigned one by one as the scandal unraveled. The entire neighborhood turned on them. At the next emergency meeting, Logan showed up in a clean polo and jeans and quietly read the California Penal Code on impersonating police to the stunned crowd. People clapped. Bradley fled the meeting before the vote, which removed him unanimously. He moved out 2 weeks later. The takeaway: we kept our flag, our home, our peace. The HOA was gutted and restructured with actual professionals. And the new president, a retired Navy chaplain who visits veterans instead of threatening families. And Logan, still mowing the lawn in silence, still polite. But now when the neighbors wave at us, they wave with respect. Because they know you don't mess with a Navy SEAL's home.